This is Spike Milligan, who did his part in bringing down Adolf Hitler, a comedian, a creator of The Goon Show, which inspired Monty Python.
I'm your king!
Well, I didn't vote for you.
And Spike, for all of his comedy genius, was given the Lifetime Achievement Award.
About bloody time. As the TV companies have not employed me for 10 years, I will take that as a golden handshake. I'm not going to thank anybody because I did it all on my own.
And this is what he thinks of Charles.
Spike, I'm sure everyone knows that you have fans from all walks of life, and of course there's one very famous, very well-respected fan in particular who wanted to be here, couldn't be here, but wanted to send a message.
These are a series of cliches you've got.
That's my job this evening. Here we go. I have a letter to read out here from His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales.
Do I kneel down for this?
I'm in enough trouble already. I'm not going to say a word.
And the Prince of Wales.
Prince of Wales. I'm sorry I have to do this, but as someone who grew up to the sounds of the Goon Show on the steam-driven wireless, I must confess that I've been a lifelong fan of the participants in the show, and particularly of Spike Milligan.
Oh, the little grovelling bastard.
Now, I'm a proponent of free speech, but I'm not a proponent of free speech without consequences. And there is a nuance to that. But isn't it interesting that we've had such a reaction from the crowd to Spike's joke? And yet, more recently, if he was to try and do that joke again, especially over the last period of time at the beginning of September 2022, Spike could have been in jail or arrested.
There's these dignitaries in these sort of ceremonial outfits. They proclaimed Charles to be our only rightful lord and king, and I found that pretty hard to stomach. So I called out who elected him. The new head of state's being imposed without our consent, you know, we shouldn't be bowing down to him. And then the security guard appeared, stood right in front of me, like nose to nose. And then the police interrupted, grabbed hold of me, they handcuffed me, they put me in the back of a police van, said they were arresting me.
And it wasn't just on the streets that voices were being limited. In the US, John Oliver made jokes about the monarchy, and it was edited out of his show when broadcast in the UK. This is what John Oliver had said in the past about Prince Philip.
Prince Philip passed away. How are you feeling about that?
Oh, thanks.
Thanks.
I appreciate it, yeah. I mean, it's difficult, isn't it?
Sure.
When a 99-year-old with such a checkered moral history.
And here are some of those checkered, racist, sexist comments from Prince Philip.
It's hard to know exactly how to feel, or indeed whether to articulate how you actually do. It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah. You pointed out last night on your show, you reminded people that, which I had forgotten, that he and the Queen were cousins, in fact.
They were very close. They were. I don't think it was just restricted to them. I believe that that family is familiar with one another.
Well, that speaks to their closeness.
It speaks. They're close. That's right. What they in the way that they can't be close emotionally, they certainly are close biologically, and I think that is that's something, isn't it?
So you already have an idea of what John thinks of the monarchy. Well, here are the clips that were edited out from the UK version of John Oliver's show.
Is a big moment which, for some reason, absolutely everyone felt that they had to weigh in on, from Crazy Frog, which tweeted out, "R.I.P. the Queen," candle emoji, a tweet that's impossible to read without mentally adding, "wing ding 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 ding, bong bong," to Domino's UK, which posted everyone at Domino's joins the nation and the world in mourning the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Our thoughts and condolences are with the royal family, which I guess is nice, although if the world is mourning, they should maybe tell the US Domino's account, whose most recent tweet as of this taping is, if you're reading this, it means you need pizza. Like to confirm. Get your f***ing house in order, Domino's! A lady is dead! Because on Tuesday, Liz Truss, basically Margaret Thatcher if she were high on glue, became its new Prime Minister. You may remember when we were covering the battle to replace Boris Johnson a few weeks ago, we introduced you to this iconic moment.
In December, I'll be in Beijing, opening up new pork markets.
Excellent. I genuinely don't think she could have gotten a more tepid response to "I'll be opening up new pork markets" if that audience was literally full of pigs. And if you think she learned anything after that about the danger of holding for applause after making a ludicrous statement, just watch the speech that she gave to a party on Monday, where she tried to pay tribute to her predecessor.
Boris, you got Brexit done. You crushed Jeremy Corbyn. You rolled out the vaccine, and you stood up to Vladimir Putin. You were admired from Kiev to Carlisle.
OK, a couple of things there. First, the UK goes above Carlisle, so that's basically admission that everyone north of this point fucking hates Boris, which is not untrue. And second, praising Boris Johnson isn't how you get an audience to love you. As we all now know, the way to do that is to have a Chilean child Superman ride around you. That's the only way to distract people from the stupidity of what you just said. Liz Truss is now facing a multitude of problems. Truss has now proposed limiting energy prices, which could reportedly cost the government more than £100 billion. And many have suggested that rather than passing that cost along to taxpayers, some of it should be recouped through a new so-called windfall tax on oil and gas companies who've made huge profits during the price spike for doing absolutely nothing. But Truss has no interest in doing that.
One thing I absolutely don't support is a windfall tax. I think it's a Labour idea. It's all about bashing business, and it sends the wrong message to international investors and to the public. I don't think profit is a dirty word, and the fact it's become a dirty word in our society is a massive problem, because there are, in this audience today, we have hundreds of people who run businesses and make a profit, and I think that's a good thing.
What the fuck are you talking about? Look, I'm just going to say this, and you may not like it, but it doesn't make it any less true. The nicest thing the Queen of England ever did for anyone was die the week that woman became Prime Minister. Because for at least a week, she's not going to be getting justifiably destroyed for answers like that. Look, things are pretty bleak in the UK right now. This fucking guy is about to be on all the money. But don't worry, Britain. Your future is now securely in the hands of dollar store British Leslie Knope here. Everything's going to be fine.
So this managed to cause quite a bit of controversy. And that meant that John got pulled on to the Seth Meyers show and had this to say.
No, it would have been nicer to see you literally anywhere else on Earth. Yeah. But it's what America does best in a way that it's pageantry.
Yeah.
It's like a royal funeral without a dead queen.
Okay, well. You know what I like about you? You know what I like the most about you? You bring your own segues. Now, John. The last time you were here was a couple of days after Prince Philip had passed away.
That's right.
And now, obviously, you're here on the day of the Queen's funeral.
I am,
and you're sort of our royal correspondent by fate more than anything else.
That's right.
How are you taking it all in?
Thanks, Seth. Yeah, well, it's a difficult day, Craig. You're from the UK, right?
I am, yeah.
Sorry for our loss.
Do you know what? I didn't know her.
Wait, you guys promised me Craig knew her.
Yeah, basically, whenever a senior royal dies, I will come here. Just click your heels 3 times, and I will be here to give it the disrespect it deserves.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
It's been a very weird time in Britain. This 10 days enforced mourning apparently has been very, very strange.
Yes, we were talking about this at the Emmys because we're both football fans.
Yes.
I should clarify, we're talking about soccer, which was, they did not play any of those games or they...
They didn't. They kept rugby and cricket was allowed to go ahead, and football had to stop in an act of, I think, tangible class warfare.
Because of the fan bases of those three
I mean,
sports?
it's hard. They will say it was for other reasons, but I think it was probably that.
Yeah.
I think they were concerned about how football fans would respond to a minute's silence, and maybe they would not be able to go the whole minute.
Which coincidentally did happen.
It's the interesting thing, it's always like the question in their mind is always, well, will they behave? Not why might they not? There's no introspection or follow-up for, well, why might they decide to editorialise that question?
Yeah. And then there's also the likelihood of maybe a chant or two or a song that could happen.
That's right, we do love a song. Yeah, it's been a very weird 10 days. I think they had in Morrison's, the supermarket. Sorry. Apparently, they lowered the sound of the beeps at the checkout out of respect for the Queen dying.
Well, she did. She hated beeps.
She hated beeps. As if someone would have gone in, heard the regular beep and say, have some respect! She's lying in state! As is tradition, a quieter beep is appropriate.
I can't believe there was a way to have the beep be quieter this whole time.
Well, at first I thought that cannot be true. They can mute the beeps, they choose not to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, that's the crime here.
That's right, and after Charles becomes king, the beeps will return.
And there is some truth to this, and it's almost ridiculous. A newspaper went down to local Morrison's being like, what the beep? And what's so disrespectful about beeping? And what do Morrison's say? But it actually turned out that Morrison's had decided to switch off music in the stores as a mark of respect to the Queen, which is quite strange. And so as a result, they had to turn the beeping down because the beeping had been calibrated for the music.
Now, I noticed a tendency for this programme to get rather silly. Now, I do my best to keep things moving along, but I'm not having things getting silly.
You were offered the Order of the British Empire, the OBE.
I was.
guess. Yeah.
Yes.
And that must be a very interesting call to receive.
It is. It is a call. They called up and they said, this was before I got my citizenship here in America. And so, you know, as any immigrant on a visa or green card, your immigration status is a perpetual anxiety for you. They left a message saying that you need to call the British consulate immediately, which doesn't sound like, unless you're Jason Bourne, and physically and emotionally, I just am not. I thought it was something really bad, and then this guy picks up the phone and says, "I am here with a letter from the Queen in front of me," and it was so offensively English, his accent. I don't think you're allowed to do this, actually. Yeah, and he said, "I'm here to say that you're on the New Year's honours list," and I knew what was coming. I don't think I want this. He went, "Don't answer now," and I said, "I just did." I said, "I don't want it," so he said, "I'll call back tomorrow." And he did. I said, "Yeah, my answer hasn't changed. I really don't want this." It's a loaded OBE.
Yeah.
The BE part of that is a hell of a thing to want after your surname. Yeah, so I didn't. And he said, "Please don't tell anyone." And I said, "I am telling everybody I know." That is, let's just be clear. I have made if I'm making a promise, I'm breaking it instantly. The moment this phone goes down, I'm calling people.
I bet, obviously, based on his reaction, it probably doesn't happen often that people turn him down.
I think it probably happens all the time.
Yeah.
I just think it's not then people that just say, "I have to tell people that this was a very funny conversation."
You had...
my wife was mad, though, because she wanted to go to Buckingham Palace. I had to kind of explain to her, "Listen, there's a class system in England. This is stuff, it's not important for you to know this, but I really can't go there and behave." Yeah.
You did have a joke censored by, I guess your show airs on Sky over there.
Yeah.
And not really a censorable joke.
And this is a joke. I'd love to know your thoughts.
We need to start with the UK, which is clearly still reeling from the shocking death of a 96-year-old woman from natural causes. Literally not a joke. Right? Scientifically, that's not a joke. That's just a fact with a kind of dickish inflection. That's all it is. And yet they cut it out.
Wow.
Which is pretty because apparently all we've heard all week is the Queen had an incredible sense of humour. So just non-stop. Oh, she was so funny. Seth, she was so funny. The Queen, she's razor sharp. She dreamt of going to the Del Cloaks Marathon.
Yeah.
Big comedy fan.
I will say I've watched a lot of anecdotes of people saying she was so funny, and then they tell a story, and when it ends, you go, eh.
Yeah, all that clip. All that clip. It's like constantly in the clip. Oh, there she was with Paddington. You're like, I'm watching a bear carry her comedically in that scene. She's giving that bear nothing back. There is one set of footprints in the sand, and it's a paw.
Now, interestingly, whilst I was looking around for clips of John Oliver talking about the Queen and trying to find what this clip was that was edited out, I found this, which was really interesting because I had no idea that the Queen had caused a diplomatic incident.
To Queen Elizabeth II, the only becrowned woman who acts more entitled than a bride at her bachelorette party. This is my day. It's my day before my other day. Normally, when the Queen makes headlines, it's because she's just gotten older. You know, her most meaningful power as monarch is basically to stand there and experience the passage of time. But this week, at a garden party, she made news with an overheard complaint.
The Queen has been caught on camera criticising a recent Chinese delegation to the UK. Her Majesty was introduced to a police commander who described difficulties during the state visit of the Chinese president.
Can I present Commander Lucy Dawson, Gold Commander when the Chinese state visited?
Oh, that was very rude to the ambassador.
Oh, they were rude to the ambassador. I will say, it's actually kind of refreshing to hear a 90-year-old woman air a grievance with specific Chinese individuals rather than expressing a vague distrust for Chinese people in general. But this story became a surprisingly big deal, with experts even delving into the physics of how the Queen had been overheard.
The thing with the royals is sometimes you hear them, sometimes you don't. There seems to have been a sort of perfect storm yesterday. The Queen was under a plastic umbrella which acted to amplify her words.
Oh, yes, of course. The classic problem of unintended sound amplification. We haven't heard this much from the Queen since she had surgery and had to wear one of those big plastic cones around her neck. But other people were more interested in examining why the Queen was so upset.
In the Queen's defence, she is only saying, and the police officer is saying what was widely reported at the time, which was Chinese officials and Chinese security at the Chinese embassy were pretty high-handed in the way they were treating British police, British diplomats and officials, acting, in the words of one observer, as if they owned the place.
Oh, that is a little rich coming from an English person, because for about 300 years that was Britain's entire military policy. How should we engage the enemy, sir? Well, I suppose we'll just march in and act like we own the place.
We stole countries. That's what you do. That's how you build an empire. We stole countries with the cunning use of flags. Yeah. You just sail around the world and stick a flag in. I claim India for Britain. And they go, you can't claim us, we live here. 500 million of us. Do you have a flag?
As usual, I want to say a big thank you to all of my YouTube and Patreon supporters who keep this channel growing and going. If you'd like to help out for free, click that subscribe and like button. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.